Hey everyone, it's Tyler and Michelle Strike from Universal Rackets, and in this video we are going to be going over what to do when you're in trouble on the pickleball court. And what I mean, do you ever get pulled out wide? Do you ever pop the ball up? Do you ever hit too much angle or your opponent hits too much angle to you? If you ever feel like you get in those scenarios, this is going to be the video for you. We're going to be teaching you tons of tips and tricks for different situations on how to get back into the point. Normally, you might just automatically lose the point, or normally you might realize, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble, I'm going to go for broke. There are certain little tips and tactics that you can do to get back into the point when you're on defense or you're in trouble.
Another part that you need to remember about this too, to get some self-awareness, to realize if you need this help in this video, is if you're playing a match and they're all super quick points, like it's a serve, a return, and then the next shot's in the net or it's out of bounds. Like, are you not getting to the kitchen? Are you not having 30, 40-second dink rallies, or your point's not at least a minute long? If not, then make sure that you listen to these tips so that you can have a longer, more fun game in the future.
And that's another thing. I feel like a lot of pros, when you watch pro pickleball, we're not all pros, right? We're not all watching. We're not all professionals. But when we see the pros, what we can take from them is that the points are super long. They go again and again and again. Dink, 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 dink. Speed up, reset. Dink, dink, dink. And the reason why isn't because they're not in trouble. It's because they get themselves out of trouble and back into a neutral position.
And they know
That's
how to play
why
defense.
the points are so prolonged. Yes, because they can transition defense into offense. And that's what we are going to do for you today. If you watch this video, regardless of your level, you are going to be able to get into twice as many points, and you're going to automatically win more points because you are doing the proper thing. It's regardless of your skill. These are typical strategy and mindset tips that we're going to go over that's going to help you get back into the points. So, should we get started?
Yes.
Let's go. So this is the first situation that I feel like many players, they get in trouble and they end up ending the point themselves. And here's what they do. They're dinking and they're dinking out wide, right? They get pulled super out wide and they try to go out wide. If you ever get pulled super out wide, again, regardless of your level, what I want you to do is go into the middle. Once again, if you ever get in trouble in pickleball, I want you to make sure that you go for the middle. The middle is your get out of jail free card. And even more specific, like Michelle said, is shallow. And why do you want to go shallow?
Because then the ball becomes unattackable and you have a chance to get back to your ready position.
Yes. So again, we're going to go back out. We're going to be dinking. And again, a lot of people, they get in these cross-court dink rallies. They keep going, and then, oh no, and then they try to go out wide again. And what can Michelle do? Put it over here and end it.
Not when I'm in the kitchen.
Yes. So again, go for the middle every single time. So great drill to do, and like what we're going to do to work on that is by just going 2 out wide, and then I'm going to go in the middle. Michelle's going to hit me out wide every single time, but then the third ball, I'm going to go into the middle. Here we are. So again, out wide. Okay, now I'm hurt, in trouble, in the middle. Here we are, out wide, and in the middle. The second thing that players will go wrong if they don't go cross court, they will go straight ahead. So Michelle's going to pull me out wide again. Here we are, and they're going to try to go here. What's that person going to do? Here we are. She's going to jump over and hit an Ernie or a backhand roll. So,
Give me an Ernie too.
if you ever, here we are, we'll show you here. So again, she's going to jump over. So I get pulled out wide, I'm gonna go here. Oh, there we are. And you're going to end the point.
Never to go straight ahead
So-
unless it's a really good shallow dink.
You can't go straight ahead unless you have a really good ball, a neutral ball or an offensive ball.
And you know that you're way better than that person standing in front of you.
It is super difficult to change direction when you have a defensive ball. Once again, it's super difficult to change direction when you have a defensive ball. So, tip number 1, if you ever get pulled out wide and you're in trouble, where do you go?
Shallow to the middle.
Down the middle solves the riddle. You don't have to try to go angle. You don't have to beat your opponent on an angle. You don't have to go all for broke and try to speed the ball up down the line, which is super difficult. If you ever get pulled out wide, where are you going to go? You are going to go into
Shallow in the middle.
and you're going to win so many more points. And number one's in the middle. Number two, like Michelle said, is shallow.
Any
but just
shallow
think
ball's
in
good ball.
the middle. And the reason why I personally don't want to say shallow in the middle is because if I think shallow and in the middle, I'm going to tighten up and maybe mess up.
And hit the
I
ball
want
in the
my
net.
mind to automatically just revert to the middle. If you get that, then maybe shallow into the middle. But I'm not as good as you, babe. So I'm just going to think in the middle.
Okay.
All right, so the next thing that we're going to go over is when you pop the ball up to your opponent. A lot of players pop the ball up to their opponent and they think the point is automatically over. They think their drop is too high, the point's
Or
over.
they're upset that they've popped it up and they're
And
like
it's done.
mad and they just kind of give up.
Guys, if you pop the ball up, that is perfectly fine. You just have to get back into the point. So we are going to teach you that right now. Here is the most obvious way that players lose points. Here we are. So they pop the ball up for a drop, she smashes it down, and then I go for broke. Okay, that's number one. Or what happens? The person pops the ball up, she smashes it down, and they move out of the way because they're scared of the ball. Number one, you don't want to go fight. Try to hit the ball as hard back as possible. Number two, you don't want to move out of the way. All you have to do is get your paddle down. I like to think, if there's a fire, what do you want to do? You want to stop, drop, and roll. If you ever pop the ball up, what are you going to do? You're going to go back,
One step back.
put your paddle down, and then try to go up. If you ever pop the ball up, all you have to do is put your paddle down. Once again, if you ever pop the ball up on your drops, what do you have to do? Put your paddle down. By putting your paddle down, what's that going to do? That's going to allow you to get to the ball and get to it back. One step back, you're going to put your paddle down, and then you're going to just try to get the ball back. That is how. And why do you want your paddle down? Because if Michelle hits and it's anywhere up, where's it going to go? It's going to go long every single time. So again, whenever I pop the ball up, the point is not over. I'm going to just put my paddle down and try to get the ball back. I'm holding a mic, so it's a little bit difficult. I'm just going to put the paddle down and try to get the ball back. Let's do two more. Hopefully I can actually make it. Get the ball back. So here we are. Look, I popped the ball up. Oh no. Here we are. And I just try to get the ball back. Notice,
Tell them about that putt.
if I ever pop the ball up in the air, I'm going to put my paddle down and just again try to get the ball back every single time. Okay, there's one I can move up. And now look. Hopefully. I won the point, but I got very lucky, right? Now, I want you to notice something. Where were my balls in my defense until I finally got one up to the kitchen? I hit them high. So many players think that they need to perfect their reset shot. They need to perfect it, right? Clearly you want it to get it lower, but if I hit it a little bit higher, what's it going to do? It's just going to give me another chance. So A, put your paddle down, try to get the ball back, and B, be okay with just getting another ball back. What I mean by that, smash the ball. I'm not going to try to go super low because I'm going to hit the ball in the net. She's going to pop it up, and I'm just going to try to block the ball back. I'm going to stay here until I finally either win the point
That could happen.
or get one in the kitchen.
How bad is that?
Here we are. So again, the first thing that you got to think is just get the ball back. Paddle down, try to get the ball back. Okay, look, that's a good one, maybe. No, it's not. Okay, here we are. So again, paddle down. Here we are. And try to get the ball back. So that's a huge thing, is just to try to get the ball back, realize, get your paddle down until you get a good one, and then move up to the kitchen.
I have something really good to say. So when you see yourself popping the ball up, you know that my paddle is going to come up. So every time my paddle is up, you mirror that in the opposite. So if my paddle's up, your paddle needs to instantly go down, and you're going to save so much time following that rule. If my paddle is down, your paddle can be a little bit neutral or up if you think they're going to pop the ball up.
Yes, that's something that you can think about when you're playing pickleball, is always put the paddle down when you smash the ball. Yeah, so the goal is to, again, just get the ball back. Always get the next. Okay, you want to try this again? So put your paddle down and always try to get the next ball back. Be okay with hitting 5, 10, 15 balls until you hit a good one. Don't try to be a perfectionist. Don't try to drive the ball, go fight or flight, and don't try to hit the ball super low because you'll end up hitting it in the net.
And we always say like different things work for different people. Another really good tip that I learned is also to think even like you're playing hockey. So when you're defending putaways or high balls, get into like a goalie position, because if your paddle's down, you'd be so surprised how your paddle can literally just bring the ball back over the net. You also want to think about not swinging. Did you talk about not swinging? Because you don't really need much of a swing when the ball's coming 1,000 miles per hour at your paddle. Essentially, you just want to have your paddle down, out in front, and to just block it back like a hockey player.
So in summary, 2 things so far, and then we're going to go into our third thing. Number 1, if you ever get pulled out wide, where are you going to go at the kitchen?
Shallow to the middle.
To the middle. And the second thing, if you ever pop the ball up at the kitchen or your partner pops the ball up at the kitchen, what are you going to do? Number 1, realize point's not over. You can get back into it. Number 2, you're going to point your paddle down. And number 3, you're going to realize that you're just going to try to get the next ball back. Then when you finally get one in the kitchen, then you're going to go up. So by having that mentality, again, paddle down, get the next ball back, it's not over, and hit the ball in the middle when you're pulled out wide, it's going to win you so many more points. When you're in trouble, this is going to get you right back either at a neutral or offensive possession. And you'd be surprised how many people will end up missing the ball. Like that one, you had a high ball and you ended up missing it because
so
how many times do you miss high balls yourself? So giving your opponent another ball gives them a chance to miss. And if they miss an easy ball, it gets into their head, you can win a couple points off that.
There is one more tip too I want to give here, and this is like a personal thing for me too. I've been playing I'm in my 3rd year now playing, and this is something huge for me as a non-tennis player. I don't know if it's a tennis thing or not, but to realize it's just a wiffle ball. Like the second you take your body like this, you're not going to be able to play defense and continue the point. Like, don't be afraid of the ball. Even if someone speeds the ball up you, like you're like, okay, I'm going to speed the ball up at you and I know it's coming, I instinctively go like this because I don't want to get hit with the ball. But if I just kind of lean more into it, I can hit that ball right back at him.
Yeah.
And even when you're playing defense, don't play defense like this, because then your ball is really going to go high up. You'll have a better chance if you do have confidence and play defense and lean back into the ball. It doesn't have to be a perfect low shot, but don't be afraid of the balls that are coming at you.
Yes, I agree. So now the third thing that we're going to do is what happens when you are out of position at the baseline. A lot of players, when they're out of position at the baseline, they go for fight or flight. And what I mean by that is maybe someone pops the ball up out wide, maybe they hit a 3rd shot and they're on the run, and here's what's going to happen. So I'm over here, Michelle's over there, and this can be used for singles too, but you're going to need this in doubles sometimes because you won't know how many times you're back at the baseline for some reason. So I'm pulled out wide, for example, they hit a good return maybe, and I have a 3rd and I'm all the way off the court, right? And what is this person normally going to do? They're going to go fight or flight, and they're going to drill the ball, and then what's going to happen? Michelle's going to just hit it back, okay? So if I'm over here all the way out position and I try to go for the shot, she's going to put it away. I'm not going to be here, and my partner is going to be sitting duck because they have to have the whole court. What can you do? If you ever get pulled out wide when you're at the baseline, instead of going for your shot, watch. If I'm ever hurt and in trouble, watch what I'm going to do. Okay? And now, here. Here. Like that. Just kidding. So, I want you to see something, right? I'm pulled out wide. Try to hit this ball real quick, right? And I'm going to count. Ready? I'm pulled out wide. Here we are. 1, 2, okay. 2 seconds, right? Now here we are. I'm pulled out wide. Ready? I'm pulled out wide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 seconds until my opponent made contact with the ball. So if you ever feel like you're out of position, you're really hurt, you're in dire need of getting back into the point, all you're going to do is pop the ball up into the air. Because when the ball's up in the air, your opponent can't touch it because it's too high. So it buys you time to get back into the point.
And what is time in pickleball?
Time is a necessity.
Currency.
Currency. Time is a currency in pickleball. Have to remember you're saying. That's an amazing one. And yeah, so guys, if you're ever hurt in pickleball, when you're back at the baseline, pop the ball up in the air. Now here's a huge thing. A lot of players, including myself, on tight points, they'll lob the ball as a cop-out.
We raised our paddles in another video, and we
said we will do this with intention, okay? So you're not going to do this
lob as a cop-out.
Yeah, you're not going to lob as a cop-out or because you want to win the point or get it in. You're going to lob and pop the ball up in there when you're hurt. Again, if you ever get pulled out wide, you're hurt in pickleball, you pop that ball up in the air, you buy your opponent time, especially you and your partner time, especially if there's sun shining that way into your opponent's face. It's huge.
And I always say too, you want to know who you're playing against. Some people don't have a put away. Some people don't have power.
Yeah.
Some people get pissed off when they
lob the ball. Yeah, I agree, because not many
head.
players, especially beginner intermediates, have an overhead, especially if they don't come from a prior racket sport background. So again, if you're ever hurt in pickleball, when you're at the kitchen, what are you going to do?
Shallow to the middle.
Shallow to the middle. If you're ever hurt in pickleball and you pop the ball up a little bit too high on your drops, what are you going to do?
Put your paddle down and defend it.
And realize, always another ball. And if you ever get pulled out wide while you're at the baseline in pickleball, you're in trouble. Where are you going to put your ball?
Up in the sky.
Guys, this is going to win you more points at any level. It's going to help you get more balls back. Your opponent's going to get more frustrated because they know that you're not going to just give the point away. And that's a huge thing. If you can teach your opponent that they have to work for the points to win, and you're not just going to go out of your way and make a stupid decision, what's that going to do? That's going to win you a ton of points and get them frustrated. The thing is you can beat players who are more skilled than you if you have a better strategy. And that's probably why, like, there's been times where we've went to the park, we got challenged by, very rarely, but we've gotten challenged by like George and Karen and Aunt Phyllis and with their knee braces and everything, and they beat us. Very rarely, by the way.
It's because we beat ourselves.
Yeah, and they had a good strategy.
And
like,
it's so easy to hit the ball out of bounds.
Yeah.
Miss your return.
And when you get to a higher level, everyone has a drop, everyone has a drive, everyone has a volley. They all have the shots, but it's where do you place the shots? It's how do you prolong the shots? So do this next time you're on court, win more points. Let us know in the comments below if this helps you or if you won more points because of this, and have a good one. Have a good one, happy hitting. Guys, we have these brand new Selkirk Amp Pro Air pickleball paddles. They're absolutely amazing. Amazing from the baseline, so much pop, so much power, so much spin. If you want one of these, make sure you click the link in our description and enter the code ADV-Universal for a gift card with checkout. If you want any type of pickleball programming in your area, make sure to click in the link in the comments below. Subscribe to our newsletter, some amazing pickleball activities going on in the Jersey Shore, PA, New Jersey area. Happy hitting, we'll see you next time on court.